Since September 2022, deposit interest rates have been in a downward trend. The domestic savings interest rate has fallen to a historic low, falling below 2% across the board, even lower than the interest rate for current deposits. Moreover, there is no sign of this trend stopping, and with the central bank's reserve requirement and interest rate cuts, bank deposit rates will continue to decline. Why is the deposit interest rate of the bank so low? What action should be taken to ensure that one's property does not shrink? Against the backdrop of continuous pressure on bank net interest margin, it has become a trend for deposit interest rates to enter a downward channel. Change your mindset and steadily double your earnings. 1. Why do bank interest rates keep falling? The bank deposit interest rate is the deposit interest paid by the bank to depositors and is an important cost for that bank. The interest rate of bank deposits is influenced by various factors, among which the most important is the monetary policy of the central bank. The monetary policy of the central bank is mainly implemented by adjusting the reserve requirement ratio and the refinancing interest rate. The reserve requirement ratio refers to the funds that banks must deposit with the central bank in a certain proportion to cope with unexpected situations. The refinancing interest rate refers to the interest rate of short-term loans provided by the central bank to commercial banks, used to regulate market liquidity. When the central bank lowers the reserve requirement ratio and refinancing interest rate, it is implementing a loose monetary policy with the aim of increasing the money supply in the market, reducing social financing costs, and stimulating economic growth. When the central bank increases the reserve requirement ratio and refinancing interest rate, it is implementing a tight monetary policy with the aim of reducing the money supply in the market, increasing social financing costs, and suppressing inflation. At present, the domestic economy is sluggish, and the pressure of domestic deflation is increasing. Deflation, also known as deflation, has the greatest impact on ordinary people as purchasing power declines. Companies cannot sell their products and can only lay off employees. Unemployment further leads to a lack of money to spend, and economic recession is interconnected. In response to the aforementioned pressures, the central bank has adopted a series of consecutive reductions in reserve requirement ratios and refinancing rates, implementing loose monetary policies. However, this has led to a decrease in the cost of funds for banks and a corresponding decrease in loan interest rates, thereby lowering their income. In order to maintain the profitability of banks, they have to lower deposit interest rates to lower their expenses. This is the main reason for the continuous decline in bank deposit interest rates, reducing loan interest and deposit interest. In summary, is to encourage people to spend more and save less, and alleviate deflation. 2. Why has the US dollar been raising interest rates all of them? Why does the Federal Reserve keep raising interest rates while continuously lowering interest rates domestically? Because doing so can maintain maximum employment and price stability in the United States. The Federal Reserve's interest rate hike is because the situation it faces is opposite to our deflationary situation, inflation. And there is no other good way to reduce inflation. We can only use interest rate hikes as a poison to fight TP poison, and can only encourage residents to save more and spend less. It can also suppress financing and loans, thereby suppressing investment and consumption. The idea of how to manage finances and increase profits seems to be very clear: interest spread arbitrage, which means exchanging assets in low interest rate countries for currencies in higher interest rate countries and saving